Hello everybody, welcome back to Bare Basic Tech. Today we're going to do a quick video for you on functions and also methods. So functions are best used for repetitive tasks, and if you find yourself rewriting the same code in different places around your file, you're probably doing it wrong. So functions are here so that you don't need to do all that over and over again. So a basic example, right, we have a syntax of def. It's just a keyword that you write just like that, def. The name of your function, and then whatever arguments you want for that function, which we'll go over inside parentheses. And then lastly, you have your colon, right? So a basic example here would be this def test function, and then in this case I have no arguments, so I have an empty parentheses and then a colon. All it's going to do is print hello world. So you'll see all it does is a simple task, which is really just this print statement. So you hit play, and it'll output hello world for you. Really simple. Now, if we include an argument that we're just going to call argument here, what it'll do is it'll take a variable passed in here as this variable called argument, and then it will use argument throughout the function. So in this case, all it does here is it will just print out whatever the value of argument is, and then return argument, which I'll go over in a second. So first, let's just look at the print statement that'll happen. So again, it'll print out 1, and this is because we run test function 2, and we give it this value of 1, which will pass into the value as argument. So effectively, what this does is it sets argument equal to 1, and then it will run the rest of the code within that function with that logic. So argument, which equals 1, will be printed. Thus why you see the 1 here. So like if I change this to like 6 or something, you'll see that value changes now. Now what return argument will do is something different. So I'm just going to show it to you like this. So if we print this, right? So notice how we went ahead and we stopped this print line from executing. The reason it's still printing is because I've now added print around test function 2. So what happens here is it'll print the output of this value, right? So it'll basically run test function 2 with 6 as the argument. So it'll go through the code and it says, okay, return whatever argument is. So argument in this case is, again, 6, because argument is set to 6, and then it returns that as the output of this function. So effectively, that makes this whole line 6, and then it just prints it. So now methods are essentially the same thing as a function. However, the only key difference to note is that they are within a class. So you'd want to do this if you want to perform a function that is associated specifically with that class, right? So I give an example here where basically let's take a square, for example, and let's give it a simple function called calculate area. So this would be done if you have a side length that we identify here, and that'll be our only variable, and we want to find, based on that side length, what is the area of the square in the most concise way possible. So all I have here is a simple initialization, which just gives the square a side length that we have predetermined, and then this function inside of it, or a method in this case, called calculate area, and it will print the value of the side length times the side length from the square. If any of this confuses you with the class specifically, I made another video on classes, and feel free to check that out. But so if we initialize an object of a square, as done here, we can then run the calculate area method under test square, which is now an object of square. So notice how we don't put any argument in or anything like that. However, when you run it, it will output a value of 9. And this comes from taking this side length of 3 and multiplying it by itself here. And that's all it's doing. So let's say I change this, make it a 10. It'll do the same thing where 10 times 10, as put in here, will equal 100, and that is what is printed. So that's all I have for you today, guys. Thanks for watching, and please feel free to like and subscribe. Thank you.